Hey everyone, today I'm going to do a quick video on how to shirr fabric, and shirring is just when you sew in your machine with elastic thread in the bobbin. And this is the effect that it has when you do a bunch of rows. You can see it's stretchy. I bought this shirt, but it just has shirring in it. So this is the inside, and it has elastic thread where the bobbin thread would be. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to use this little scrap of fabric, and things that you will need are an empty bobbin and some elastic thread. Just comes on a spool, and you can see it's elasticy, obviously. You can get this at any fabric or craft store. I believe I got this one from the fabric section at Walmart, so just check around, they should have it. And you're going to need some scissors and of course a sewing machine, so I'll show you how to get started. So the first thing you need to do when you're going to shirr some fabric is hand wind the elastic thread onto your bobbin. You have to do this because you don't want any tension in the elastic thread on the bobbin. So I'm just going to do it by hand. And again, do it not so loose that it's loopy on the bobbin, but you don't want to pull it like that and do it tight. So, just hand wind it on there. And once you think you have enough on there, just cut it. And now I'll show you the settings I use on my machine for doing this. Alright, so here's my lovely little sewing machine. It's a Kenmore. I don't know the model number, but that's what it looks like. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my bobbin with elastic thread that I hand wound, and I'm just going to load it into my machine like I would normally. Just pop it in there, and then put it in, and then, as usual, just bring it up. Alright, and now I'm going to adjust the settings. So up here is my tension. For normal sewing, I have it on a 2. You want to put this to the highest setting on your machine, which on mine is a 9. And I'm going to keep it on a straight stitch. And then for just everyday sewing, I have a length and width of 2 for my stitch, but you want to make the length as long as it can go in your machine. For me, that's a 4. And I'm just going to leave the width at a 2. Now, these settings are what works for me on my machine, so you can try this out on yours, but you may have to play around with it just to see what works best for you. And also, the type of fabric you're using may have different results, so you might just want to play around with it on a scrap of the fabric you're going to be using for your project, like I am today. So now that we have our machine all set up, I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so I know this is kind of an awkward angle, but I'm filming this on my MacBook, so this is the best I can do. So I have my machine all set up, and I'm going to take my scrap of fabric, and I'm just going to start just anywhere because I'm just demonstrating. So I'm going to put the presser foot down, and when you start sewing, you want to back stitch just a couple times because you don't want the elastic to pull out and then ruin your whole row. So I'm just going to do that and back stitch. And now I'm just going to sew from that end all the way to the other end of my scrap of fabric in a straight line. You can see it's scrunching up already, and when I get to the end, I'm going to back stitch again. And now I'm just going to cut the thread. And you can see that it has scrunched up the fabric nicely. And the more rows you do of this, the more it's going to scrunch it up. So I'm going to do another row just to show you. You can space these rows out however you want. I think the closer you do them together, the more it's going to scrunch again. So, I don't know, I'm not really going to measure, I'm just going to eyeball it for this. But when you're doing a project, you want to measure so the whole thing scrunches uniformly. So again, I'm going to back stitch to start. And then for the row you've already sewn, you kind of want to stretch it out so it's straight, so you can make sure that the line you're sewing now is straight as well. So I'm just going to do that and back stitch at the end again. So now you have that. And for a good project, you probably want to use coordinating thread for the top, but I'm just using black so you can see. If I stretch it out, I just have a straight line of sewing, and there's the elastic on the back. So I'm just going to continue doing a couple more rows on this, and then I'll show you what this little scrap will look like when it's all shirred. Alright, so I've done 4 rows of shirring on my little scrap of fabric, and this is what it looks like. You can see if I stretch it out, you can see my stitching lines are not straight at all, but you could mark your fabric with like a fabric pen or something first with a ruler to make sure they're all evenly spaced, and then you have a guide to follow. This I just eyeballed, so you know, it's not straight at all, but that's alright, just for demonstration. So there's that, and the reason I'm doing this little tutorial on shirring is because I have another tutorial coming up soon, hopefully, that's like a flowy shirt that has a shirred top, so I thought I would do this first for people to refer to if they've never done shirring before and they want to try that project. So I hope you found this video useful on how to shirr fabric, and keep a lookout for the shirred shirt tutorial I will hopefully have coming up. So thanks for watching. Bye!